Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, on Roku, Dwyer Sports Betting, one word, private channel. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. You know, Donaire, in recent interviews, has said that he believes fighting Guillermo Rigondeaux would be easier for him than fighting Abner Mares. His theory is that Rigondeaux is a southpaw and that he would be able to jab him to death. Right? Apparently Donaire believes that he can land his jabs on southpaws. Now, the fighters know what happens in the ring. But as an outsider outside the ring who is trying to bet on the fight, I'm going to disagree with Donaire. When is the last time any of us has seen Rigondeaux repeatedly hit with a jab? He's very hard to hit with a jab. In fact, let me point out, Rigondeaux is an excellent defensive fighter. He's hard to hit with anything because he plays a vertical game and he plays a distance game. In other words, he's not standing right in front of you to get hit upside the head with a jab. Right? He's not there. He's standing back. Right? He's only up on you on occasion. Right? He's standing back. Not only that, he bends his knees. So he's not right at jab level to get hit with a jab. He's actually low. He comes in, he leans. Right? This is what defensive fighters do. So if you're jabbing, you're going to have to jab down or jab off at the side. And he's not standing there. So he gets hit with one jab and then hit with another jab and hit with another jab. No, he's moving. Right? You start to throw jabs, he's going to back away. He's going to lean to the side. And keep in mind too, Rigondeaux is a counterpuncher. So while you're firing bullets, guess what? Some bullets are going to get fired back at you. Now, just comparing and contrasting Rigondeaux's defense to Abner Mares' defense is an injustice to Rigondeaux. Because, quite frankly, his defense is elite. Abner Mares gets hit. Think about the Abner Mares fights you've seen that have been wars. Right? The Agbeko fight. That was a war. Both fights. The Yanni Perez fight. That was a war. Right? The Vic Darchinyan fight. There's a reason why Abner Mares is in wars. It's because while he's throwing a lot of punches around, he's getting hit with a lot of punches around. He's front foot heavy. So he's in front of you. He's doling out punishment, but he's paying a price for the punishment. Now my point is simply this. A guy like Mares, in my opinion, is tailor-made for Donaire. Because Donaire is a guy who throws concussive left uppercuts, a concussive left hook. Right? If he's trading with you, he's hitting you with bricks. Right? You're getting the worst part of the exchange. Also, if you're a jabber, if you believe in your jab, like Donaire believes in his jab, I would argue that righty or lefty, Abner Mares is easier to hit with a jab repeatedly than Guillermo Rigondeaux. Right? I think Donaire against Guillermo Rigondeaux is one of the very best fights that can be made in boxing. Neither is bulletproof. Both have had their problems in the ring. Right? Wilfredo Vasquez actually won one of the judges' cards when they fought by 3 rounds in a fight in which he got knocked down by Donaire in the 9th round. In other words, some judge watched the fight. I know judges can be crazy at times, but some judge watched that fight and was not convinced that Donaire was even winning that fight, right? Against a tall guy, I'm going to butcher his name, Jeffrey Mathabula. I thought that fight was much closer than the judges scored it. I thought Donaire had problems getting by his jab, right? I believe a technician, in fact an unbeaten professionally technician, like Rigondeaux, would give Donaire all kinds of problems in both finding him and in dealing with Rigondeaux's jab, which is an excellent jab. Not only that, both guys are low volume. It would be a chess match. Neither guy is going to jump on the other in flurry. Both would be watching, analyzing, dissecting, waiting, then attacking. I think Donaire would do boxing fans a bigger favor by fighting Guillermo Rigondeaux than by fighting Abner Maris. Let me also point out that Maris has his hands full as it is. He's fighting Victor Terrazas, and Victor is an excellent fighter. That fight is not a gimme. All Terrazas lacks is exposure, popularity. In the ring, he handles his business, right? So I'm going to disagree with Nonito Donaire. Maybe I'm disagreeing with most of the public because I know Maris is a loved fighter. But I think Donaire beats Maris. I don't know who wins Donaire against Rigondeaux. Okay, let's talk about another fight. The rumors are flying that Sugar Shane Mosley is going to return to the ring, and that he's going to do so against welterweight champion Paulie Malignaggi. Now let me just say this, and I know it's politically incorrect, and let me just say, Malignaggi is rapidly becoming this generation's Emanuel Stewart as a boxing commentator. He's excellent, right? As I'm watching telecasts with Malignaggi giving his point of view, even though I disagree with it a lot of the time, I didn't believe Cotto Trout was that close, but I like his takes. I like how he sees things. If you haven't heard Malignaggi as a commentator, I would encourage you to listen to that Trout Cotto commentary, right? Malignaggi's excellent. But let me just say, as a fighter, in my opinion, and hey, we're online, it's going to sound hard, I consider Malignaggi to be one of the sport's weaker champions, right? He's a jabber. He doesn't have much of a right hand. He hurt that right hand. Occasionally, when he gets up close, he can crack you with it. But his right hand is non-existent from distance. Not a lot of power. I don't see world-class fighters getting knocked out by Paulie Malignaggi. And that's very important against Shane Mosley, right? Because Mosley can get hit. The question for any fighter who is late 30s, early 40s, is whether or not they can really handle the punches that they're getting hit with, because they don't recuperate as well as younger men, right? I believe that Paulie Malignaggi's punching power is below average, right? Malignaggi moves well. He looks great. He knows how to entertain the crowd. He is a great showman. But once you get past the show, the actual performance is lacking a bit. Count me among those who thought that he lost his last fight to Pablo Cano, but was awarded the win in really his hometown arena in Brooklyn, right? In fact, Paulie Malignaggi hit the canvas in that fight, right? And that's important because understand why Paulie Malignaggi has not gone the distance in some fights. The Ricky Hatton fight, the Amir Khan fight. Paulie Malignaggi has never been knocked out where he was counted out, right? Those stoppages were really referee stoppages, coming in, breaking the action. And I would argue, in fact, it's even worse than that. The Ricky Hatton stoppage was his own corner, Buddy McGirt, stopping the fight I thought the McGirt stoppage was premature. In fact, I didn't like the referee stoppage in the Amir Khan fight. So Paulie Malignaggi has an excellent chin. He went 12 rounds with Miguel Cotto. He has an excellent chin. You need to keep that in mind, knowing that Malignaggi got knocked down in his last fight. Malignaggi himself is not the youngest man in the sport, right? The fact that now Malignaggi is getting caught and knocked down, in my opinion, raises red flags, especially when you consider the fact that Cano wasn't even a real welterweight. Cano had to gain weight for that fight. And it's important to consider the fact that Malignaggi got knocked down against really a junior welter when you realize that Shane Mosley has outsized punching power. We used to talk about Antonio Margarito's great chin. Keep in mind, Margarito, after the Mosley fight, went the distance with Manny Pacquiao. The reality is he didn't go the distance with Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley dented that chin, knocked him out. We used to talk about how Ricardo Mayorga had a great chin. Shane Mosley dented that chin, knocked him out. Fernando Vargas. Shane Mosley dented that chin, knocked him out. Mosley is big for 147 because keep in mind, Mosley for years was fighting at 154 pounds. He's the opposite of Pablo Cano. If Paulie Malignaggi thought Pablo Cano hit hard, he has no idea how much harder Shane Mosley is going to hit him. Now let's talk about Shane Mosley. I know he's older, but he's actually well preserved if you look at his record. He fought once in 2008. He fought once in 2009. He fought twice in 2010. He fought once in 2011. He fought once in 2012. Right? He has very limited head movement. I know I sound hard here. So it goes. He has very limited head movement. Doesn't roll well with punches. Should not, in my opinion, be compared to fighters like Sugar Ray Robinson. Different level. Sugar Ray Leonard. Different level. All I'm saying is, if I'm doling out the sugars, right, and I only have 2 spoons, not 3 or 4, then I'm going to have to give a spoon to Ray Robinson. I'm going to have to give a spoon to Ray Leonard. Mosley, Sugar Ray Seals, some other pretty good sugars, they're going to be on the outside, right? I'll agree that Mosley was one of the best lightweight champions of our time, but I'll just say, like Larry Holmes, he never really had the great head movement. He certainly doesn't have it now. Right? Now I'm guessing that's what's attracted a jabber like Paulie Malignaggi, who can bust you up if you don't move your head, to Shane Mosley as an opponent. That and the fact that Shane Mosley's on a streak, and it's not a winning streak. Right? He lost to Floyd Mayweather. He tied Sergio Mora. He lost to Manny Pacquiao. He lost to Saul Alvarez. In fact, since he fights infrequently, understand it literally has been years since Shane Mosley's last win in the ring. Let me also profess some personal sour grapes when it comes to Shane Mosley. If you go back, and if you look on YouTube, and if you look up my video for the Manny Pacquiao-Shane Mosley fight, you're going to see that in that video I was saying that Shane Mosley has an opportunity to end that fight off a counter right hand, because Manny Pacquiao, in my opinion, was defenseless over here on the right side. Right? Mosley was a huge underdog. Huge underdog. I said Manny Pacquiao comes in at times a bit recklessly and was open to counter right hands. I'm telling you that Shane Mosley had an excellent opportunity in that fight to win as a 4 or 5 to 1 underdog, whatever he was, that night. And when I watched the fight, I understood that this Shane Mosley is not prime Shane Mosley. Right? The ship, to some degree, has sailed. Manny Pacquiao was right there. He wasn't running. If you look at the Pacquiao fight, Manny Pacquiao came to fight. He was right there for Shane Mosley. Right? He's hanging out. He is right there. He is ready to exchange. Someone did run away that fight. Someone did fight on their back foot. It was Shane Mosley. It's even worse than that. Shane Mosley was there for survival. He didn't really throw the counter right hand. Oh, and that counter right hand theory? Take a look at Manny Pacquiao's last fight against Juan Manuel Marquez. He threw the counter right hand. He found Pacquiao wide open. Shane Mosley hits harder than Juan Manuel Marquez by a wide margin. Remember, power is the last to go. You don't knock down Antonio Margarito unless you're packing heat. Shane Mosley, when he's ready, can, figuratively speaking, throw the fastball 98 miles an hour. Who has hit Floyd Mayweather harder in the last 5 years than Shane Mosley did twice early in their fight? Floyd was literally holding on. Floyd's knees buckled off one of the shots. And all I'm saying is, the problem with growing older, Ali talked about this, is that you see the openings, but you just can't throw the punch. Now, there was an interesting moment recently, and I know I'm rambling here, where Angel Garcia, Danny Garcia's father, was at a press conference, and he was talking about Zab Judah, who Garcia is fighting next. And he said, Zab, everybody knows you're a 4-round fighter, 4 or 5 rounds, right? The theory is that after the opening third of the fight, Zab Judah fades. That's what happens to older fighters. That's what seemed to happen to Shane Mosley after the first 4 rounds of the Manny Pacquiao fight and after the first 4 rounds of the Floyd Mayweather fight and after the first 4 rounds of the Saul Alvarez fight. Shane Mosley doesn't have the great stamina that Shane Mosley did when he was a dominant lightweight champion. Right? That's what age does for you. Accordingly, the way I'm seeing this fight is Shane Mosley has a chance at a knockout. He has a chance at a knockout. But if he doesn't get that knockout in the first, I'd say 5 or 6 rounds, if he doesn't get that knockout in the first half of the fight, he's in for a lot of trouble. Because his game seems to fade the second half of the fight. And Paulie Malignaggi is going to find him with that jab the second half of the fight. Let me also point out that even though Mosley, like Glenn Johnson, has never been stopped. Look it up in the record. Mosley has one of the greatest chins in history. Understand there are other ways to be knocked out. Look at the Shinchenko fight where Paulie Malignaggi busted up the guy's eye, and that fight was called. This is the same Shinchenko who then stopped Ricky Hatton. Right? If I were betting this fight, I'd take Shane Mosley by knockout. I don't know what the odds are. It's December 18th, 2012. The fight hasn't been formally announced. But I'd take Shane Mosley by knockout. I'd take Paulie Malignaggi by decision. And I might even then also take Paulie Malignaggi by KO in the last 3 rounds of this fight. Right? If Malignaggi is able to bust up Mosley's eye, especially given that Mosley's face was puffed up after the Saul Alvarez fight, and Mosley doesn't move his head. He doesn't move as much as Guillermo Rigondeaux. Understand, Rigondeaux, his head's here, his head's down here, he's rolling, you're throwing, he's rolling before the punch even gets into frame. That's not Shane Mosley. Late in this fight, I could see Mosley with an eye that's closed. His father's in his corner. His father loves him. His father would be able to say, Shane, it's over. And I think Mosley would listen to his father's advice. By the way, Mosley is replacing Naseem Richardson with his father. You can imagine that this is really part of the emotional journey he's on. He understands his career is winding down and he wants his dad in the corner with him. Can't blame him, even though Naseem Richardson is one of the very best in boxing. I think Mosley, the first half of this fight is dangerous. I think after that, Malignaggi takes over. I like Mosley by KO. Hedged against Malignaggi by decision, and Malignaggi as a prop bet in the last 3 rounds by KO just for outsized profits. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments for me here online. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com. Thanks for watching.